So you probably think that having the most advanced technology guarantees victory in business, right? Like, obviously, the company with the absolute best, newest tech is the one that wins.
Yeah, I mean, that's just basic common sense is what we're all taught.
Exactly. Well, prepare to have your mind completely blown today
Hmm.
because we are looking at this deep dive. And the brutal reality is that the companies that die the absolute worst, ugliest deaths are often the ones with the newest technology.
It's a total face slap of a reality. It really is. And the mission of our deep dive today is to prove exactly why that happens. We are opening up the stack of world-class, century-old data. I mean, 4 top economists track the exact operational data of factories from 100 years ago.
Like down to the penny in the single machine part.
Right, down to individual machines.
Right.
And we're going to show you exactly why high-tech pioneers end up in the corporate graveyard and, why these boring older companies end up buying their corpses for basically pennies on the dollar.
It's wild. But okay, let's set the scene first. We need some context. We're talking about the Japanese cotton miracle.
Yes. Massive historical shift.
So between roughly 1887 and 1914, Japan went from having its domestic cotton industry just completely annihilated by foreign imports, right? Like wiped out.
Totally. The British and India machine-spun yarn just flooded their market.
But then they completely reversed the trend. It's insane. Imports literally dropped to absolute zero.
Zero.
And their exports absolutely exploded. They created this Asian economic miracle that utterly defeated the West in this specific sector.
Which is incredible. But, miracles create madness.
Right.
And madness creates a massive bloodbath.
Oh, a total bloodbath. So let's talk about the price of that madness. Paint a picture of this frenzy for us.
Well, think about it. You have these insane profits, right? And that naturally leads to blind, reckless expansion. Literally everyone was taking out giant loans and building factories. It was a gold rush.
Just throwing money at capacity. Because if you're making a fortune, why not make 10 times as much?
Exactly. But then you get a black swan event. Out of nowhere, we hit the year 1900 and the Boxer Rebellion kicks off.
Right, this massive geopolitical crisis in China.
Yeah, and because of that, the massive Chinese market, which was the main place Japan was selling all this new cotton yarn, it slams completely shut. Overnight.
Boom. Nobody is buying.
Nobody. So an absolute tsunami of overcapacity just crashes down on the Japanese cotton industry.
And the result is total carnage, right? I mean, looking at the data, a staggering 76% of all factories change hands during this period.
76%. It's an entire industry wiping out and resetting.
Okay, so this brings up a logical question for you listening right now. If a bunch of companies are going bankrupt and they're being bought out, who is doing the buying?
Right. Who's the predator and who's the prey?
Yeah, I mean, common sense says the big, hyper-efficient, advanced companies are the ones buying the slow, outdated, terrible companies.
Right.
That's just how capitalism works.
Yeah, that's what you'd think. But here is the ultimate face slap from this data. It's a shocking reversal. The companies doing the buying actually had much, much worse machines.
Wait, the winners had worse tech.
Oh, way worse. Let's break down the raw physical efficiency data on the factory floor. We'll skip the heavy academic jargon, but let's just look at raw physical output per machine.
Okay.
So the factories that were forced out of business, the losers who were sold off their physical efficiency score was a very healthy 0.125.
Which is good.
Very good.
Yeah.
But the big giant companies that bought them, the winners, their efficiency score was negative 0.004.
Oh, wait. I need to make sure I am grasping this and that everyone listening is grasping this. The losers, the guys going bankrupt, were physically crushing the winners on the factory floor.
Actually crushing them.
Their equipment was light years ahead. They were producing way better, but they were the ones going bankrupt. How is that even mathematically possible?
I know, it sounds completely fake. But to understand why these tech geniuses lost, we have to look at their shiny new toys. We got to look at the equipment itself.
The Ferrari in the garage.
Exactly. The reason these bankrupt companies were so physically efficient is that they were the new kids on the block. When they entered the market, they went out and purchased the absolute most top-tier, state-of-the-art British imported spinning machines.
They bought the absolute best. I have the exact specs right here, actually, just to make it real for people. These new machines ran at 7.71 thousand RPMs.
Which is blazing fast for the time.
Right. And they could handle 2.47 different types of raw cotton. They were incredibly flexible. Meanwhile, the old giants, the guys who end up buying them, were using this clunky, slow, inflexible junk by comparison.
Total legacy junk. But here is the brutal financial reality. Despite having sky-high physical efficiency on the factory floor, The new factories were completely broke.
Because physical efficiency does not equal cash in the bank.
Boom. Exactly. Their actual profitability, like cash return on the money they invested, was a pathetic 14.8%.
Ouch.
Yeah. But the older, quote-unquote, mediocre giants,
Okay.
the ones with the bad machines, they were raking in a massive 27.4% profit margin.
Almost double.
Almost double the profit with worse machines.
Okay, pushback time. If you're listening, you're probably screaming at your phone right now. If they had better machines and they were making better yarn, why were they making half the money? Did they panic?
That's the first thing people guess.
Like, did they start a massive price war? Were they so desperate to stay alive that they just sold their high-quality yarn at a huge discount?
It's a great theory, right? But the economists who dug into this data completely shut down the price war theory.
How so?
Because they have the exact receipts. The data proves product prices were totally identical. The bankrupt high-tech factories sold their yarn for 93.2 yen.
Okay.
And the acquiring giants, the winners, sold it for 94.7 yen.
Wait, so no statistical difference at all?
None. The market was completely transparent. Everyone knew the price of yarn. The high-tech guys were making great yarn, and they were selling it for a great price.
Okay, so no price war. Great tech, good prices. Where was the blood leaking from? Why were they dying?
Well, the depressing truth is they literally left their machines turned off. Yeah. They had these incredible, ultra-expensive British machines, and they just left them powered down. The data shows the older, mediocre factories ran their machines for 311 days a year.
Just grinding it out.
Grinding. But the high-tech factories, they only ran for 253 days.
That is, wow. Okay, so to use that analogy again, it's like you bought $1 million Ferrari, but you literally leave it sitting in the garage gathering dust for half the year.
Exactly.
Why on earth couldn't they turn the machines on? Were they broken?
No, the machines were perfect. They were devoured by an inventory monster. See, they made fantastic yarn, but they couldn't actually sell it. Their warehouses were completely bursting at the seams.
Because the Chinese market was closed.
Right. So the ratio of unsold goods for the high-tech factories was 7.8%.
And the older giants?
Only 3.3%. Less than half.
Oh man, imagine the panic. Just put yourself in the shoes of those high-tech founders for a second. You have massive debt from buying all these imported British machines.
High-interest loans, too.
Yeah. And your warehouse is totally full of yarn that nobody is buying. Bad debts are piling up. You literally have to stop the machines. You have to turn off the Ferrari because you physically have nowhere left to put the product.
Right. If you keep making yarn, you're just burning cash. You don't have to store a product you can't sell.
It's a total liquidity trap. Which brings us to the core invisible advantage here. This completely changes how we should look at business.
It really does. I'm going to lay down the ultimate law of this deep dive right now. A company's true competitiveness is not its production technology.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
It is demand management, period. It is your ability to control sales channels and lock in premium buyers. The high-tech guys entirely ignored this. They thought the machine was the business.
But wait, how did the older companies manage to keep selling then? I mean, the whole market crashed in 1900. The Boxer Rebellion shut down China for everybody, not just the high-tech guys.
Great question. The answer is a secret trust alliance, a massive credit network.
Okay, explain that.
Well, the older giants had spent a full decade building deep, trust-based relationships with these massive trading houses in Osaka and Tokyo.
Right, the big commercial hubs.
Yeah. During a crisis, these trading houses obviously panicked, they rationed their cash, and they made a simple choice. They only bought from the people already inside their established network.
They protected their friends.
Exactly. I'll hit you with the hard numbers here because they are wild. If you were inside this secret trust network during the 1900 crash, your profit was a relatively healthy 4.4%. You survived.
You stayed above water.
But if you were outside the network, like the new high-tech guys were, your profit was negative 0.005%.
Wow.
The network literally meant life or death. If you didn't have the trading houses backing you, you died.
So the tech-obsessed pioneers hit a wall, they run out of cash, their warehouses are full, and they are forced to sell their beautiful British machines just to avoid total ruin.
Yep.
What happens next is honestly a masterclass in capitalism.
It really is the true anatomy of a buyout.
Right, because it wasn't high efficiency buys low efficiency, like we all thought at the start. It was high profit buys low profit. The old giants weren't just buying machines, they were buying idle potential.
They were buying the Ferrari at a massive discount.
Yeah.
And the magic of this merger is what happens the very next day. The moment the old giant bought that failing new factory, they immediately plugged that high-tech plant right into their elite sales network.
They turn the faucet on.
Instantly. And the immediate aftermath is a restructuring miracle. In the first 3 years after being acquired, those idle machines just roared to life.
Because they finally had somewhere to send the yarn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Equipment utilization violently spiked by 9% right away, and those massive mountains of unsold inventory that killed the original owners slashed by 60%.
Oh, man. The long-term results of this must have been insane, because once that Ferrari was finally allowed out on the highway, it just crushed everything, right?
It was a total explosion of potential. 3 years post-merger, the total production efficiency of these acquired plants exploded by 13%.
Wow.
The old giants effectively bought top-tier tech at a severe discount, injected their own sales soul into it, and just unleashed total dominance.
That is incredible. But, looking at the sources, it wasn't just about the sales channels, right? There's another layer to why the tech guys failed.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes the tech founders were just terrible at actually managing human beings.
Yeah, let's talk about the discipline on the factory floor, because there's a specific, really vivid story from the source material that just paints the craziest mental image.
The Onigagawa cotton plant.
Yes, the Onigagawa plant. Tell that story because it is wild.
Okay, so this plant was one of those high-tech failing operations. And they bring in this guy, Heizaman Hibiya.
A genius trader.
Right, a trader, not an engineer. He takes over this failing plant, and when he walks in on his first day, it is an absolute disaster zone.
Like how bad?
I mean, workers were literally bringing portable charcoal stoves onto the factory floor and cooking food next to the highly flammable cotton machines.
Wait. Portable stoves?
Yeah.
In a cotton factory?
Yes. It's a massive fire hazard. People were just casually smoking tobacco on the factory floor while leaning on the spinning frames.
That is insane.
Oh, it gets worse. Workers were running illegal gambling rings inside the inventory room.
No way.
And the actual managers, the guys in charge, they weren't even in the building. They were down at the local river fishing.
Fishing. Wait, so they took out massive loans, bought the literal best machines in the world, and then used the factory as a casino and a campsite?
Exactly. Because they thought the technology would just do all the work. Hibiya comes in, sees this, and rules with an absolute iron fist.
I mean, he had to.
He banned all smoking. He banned the gambling. He fired all those terrible managers who were fishing. He personally went down to the floor and inspected the yarn every single day to enforce quality.
He brought actual operations management to the tech.
And the result? Within just 3 years, the physical efficiency of that factory doubled.
Doubled.
A 100% increase in output, just by enforcing basic discipline and focus. He didn't even buy new machines.
See, that brings us to the macro level here, the rise of the giants. Because these older firms knew how to sell through their networks and they knew how to manage their floors, they went on an absolute shopping spree.
Oh, they swallowed the market. 3 mega giants, companies like Kanibo and Toyobo, they just swallowed up all these bleeding high-tech factories.
And the market share shift is terrifying. In 1896, those giants controlled about 10% of the market. By 1920,
50%.
50%. Half the industry. They literally built an oligopoly by feasting on the corpses of tech pioneers.
Which reveals the deeper truth of this entire deep dive.
Yes, let's distill this for the listener, because it comes down to extremely short, punchy terms.
No.
Technology is just a skeleton.
Right.
Operations and sales, that is the soul. You can buy the best machines in the world with a giant loan, but without demand management, without a trust network, advanced hardware is just a very heavy, very expensive anchor.
And it will drag you to the bottom of the ocean so much faster than if you had no tech at all.
Exactly. And this isn't just a fun history lesson about Japanese cotton from 100 years ago.
Not at all.
This is a blaring warning siren for right now.
It's a historical loop. You have to ask yourself, are we repeating history right now? Just think about the massive AI boom we are living through.
The parallels are actually scary.
They really are. We have thousands of AI startups burning billions of dollars to buy the most advanced GPUs.
The modern version of the British spinning machine.
Exactly. They are building massive computational capacity. They mathematically have the highest physical efficiency. But do they have a sales network? Do they have locked-in paying enterprise buyers?
Usually no.
Right. So are there digital warehouses just filling up with unused code and idle server space?
It's the exact same inventory monster, just digital. Which brings us to a final provocative thought aimed directly at you listening right now. When the current tech bubble bursts, and history says it absolutely will, who is actually going to survive?
Is it the brilliant coders who built the most advanced algorithm in a vacuum?
Or is it the quote-unquote boring legacy tech giants who already have a massive network of trusting, paying enterprise clients? Look at your own industry right now. Are you blindly building capacity just chasing the newest tech, or are you actively anchoring your market trust?
The ones with the network will buy the algorithms for pennies.
Exactly. So don't let your Ferrari rot in the garage. Keep diving deep.